maybe? Should we wait a couple more minutes, or Walker, do you wanna? How many
Uh,
songs are you playing for us today?
so have probably about half a dozen, but they're all pretty short. So I'm in no rush. I've also got plenty of material to fill the time. So I'd say it's your call. If you want me to get started now, I'd be happy to do that. If you want to wait for um, if you want to wait for people to keep trickling in or getting set up, that's totally fine too.
Hmm, how about you play your first song, and then we can talk a little bit more.
Sure. So, uh, well, I have a little introduction first. When I
Okay.
was when I was very young, there was a musician who used to come into our preschool and play songs for us on his guitar, and we called him Mr. Jim. We never learned his last name. It was really long and started with an S, so nobody could remember it anyway. But he was a really nice guy, and he was a really open-minded, multicultural kind of person, and he would play different kinds of music from all around the world. And listening to him play is one of my fondest memories from growing up. So since I learned how to play the guitar, I'd like to do a little Mr. Jim style set with different kinds of music from all around the world, and I'll finish with some of his children's songs that he used to play for us. So the first kind of music I'd like to play is blues, which I'm sure everybody's familiar with. It originated in the Deep South in the United States in the late 1800s, and it incorporated African musical traditions, African American work songs, and spirituals. And over the past, I don't know, 150 years or so, it's developed into many different styles of music that all share the same roots. So I'd like to start with a couple of blues songs. The first one I'd like to play is called the St. Louis Blues. It was made famous by the legendary trumpet player Louis Armstrong, and this is a short interpretation of that.
Nice.
So that's the St. Louis Blues. So that one was kind of structured. It had an introduction and a middle, and then a solo, and then back to the same introduction. I'd like to play one more little blues song. This one's just called a 12-bar blues. It's not based on any particular tune, but it's more written around a background, so there's space for the guitar solo. So this is a different style of blues, but the same type of music in general.
actually a kind of blues that I'm more used to.
Yeah. So depending on where you're from, where you grew up in the United States, you might be familiar with different kinds of blues. Or if you have an international background, you might not be familiar with the blues at all. But next, I'd like to take us out of the United States, and we're going to go over to Europe and Asia. And the next kind of song I'd like to play for you has its roots in Indian music. And so the Punjabi people originated in northern India, but over time they've spread out a little bit, especially to Western Europe, such as Great Britain. And there's a special kind of music in Great Britain that combines traditional Punjabi songs with modern instruments, kind of in the way that blues combines old African spiritual root music with modern styles of music. And so a Punjabi tune that uses modern instruments is called a bhangra, and it's often played at festive ceremonies like weddings. And so this is a type of so this is an example of a bhangra. The song is called Bhangralicious, and I hope you enjoy it. All right. Alrighty, thank you very much.
That's nice.
Uh,
Different from the other two.
yeah. So next, I'd like to take us to Africa, and there are two songs I'd like to play that have more direct African roots. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to learn anything about them. I've tried Googling the names, but I haven't been able to figure anything out about exactly where in Africa they're from or what people or culture they're they're based on or named after. But this is the first one, and it's called a Nimbara. Thank you very much. There's one more African tune that I'd like to play for you, and this one's called Abulo. Alright, here we go. All right. So next, I'd like to take us over to Europe, and this is a famous tune that you will probably recognize once we get into it. It's called Canon in D. This song was written by a composer called Johann Pachelbel. I think that's how his name is pronounced. And it was written in the 1600s, and at the time he had more famous work, but nobody knows why he wrote this one. There's a theory that he wrote it for the wedding of his fellow composer Johann Sebastian Bach, but nobody really knows for sure. And regardless of its origins, this tune has persisted today, and sometimes it's played at weddings or even funerals in the Western world. And I'm certain that you will recognize the melody. Right. Thank you very much. So there's just a couple more songs that I'd like to play for you today. We're running up on 2:30, so we've got a few more minutes. But I think I'd like to sing a couple of short songs
Sorry,
for you.
Walker, you cut off for me a little
Oh,
bit.
everybody there? All right. I'd just like to sing a few more songs for you before we call it a day. So this song I've got. So I'm going to sing one song that I've learned to play since starting, and then one more children's song that Mr. Jim would sing for us when we were younger. So the first song was written by a guy called Jim Croce. He was a famous American singer-songwriter from the Midwest, and I'm guessing that the younger generation might not have heard of him, but the older generations probably have. He was a really amazing musician, and he tragically died at the age of 30 in a plane crash. And he actually he really wanted to go into music, but his parents didn't want him to, and so his parents promised to pay for his first record label, uh, in the hopes that it wouldn't sell anything and convince him to stop trying to live his life making music. But it actually sold really well and started his career. So I think that's a really funny story. But this song, there's one song I'd like to play that Jim Croce wrote, and it was actually published after his death. He didn't write it until very shortly before he died, and the legend has it that he and his wife were arguing about his music career, and they couldn't settle it before bed. So his wife went to bed, and Jim Croce went downstairs and he wrote a song for her, and he got up early the next morning and went to his wife and played this song. So I think that's a really beautiful story, and I'd like to play this song for you by Jim Croce. It's called "I'll Have to Say I Love You" in a song. How's the volume, Beatrice?
I think it's good to be a little louder.
A little louder? No problem. There we go. Well, I know it's kinda late. I hope I didn't wake you. What I've gotta say can't wait. I hope you'd understand. Every time I tried to tell you, the words just came out wrong. So I have to say I love you in a song. Well, I know it's kinda strange, but every time I'm near you, I just run out of things to say. I knew you'd understand. Every time I tried to tell you, the words just came out wrong. So I have to say I love you in a song. Every time the time was right, oh, the words just came out wrong. So I have to say I love you in a song. Well, I know it's kinda late. Hope I didn't wake you, but there's something that I just gotta say. I knew you'd understand. Every time I tried to tell you, the words just came out wrong. So I have to say I love you in a song. Every time I tried to tell you, the words just came out wrong. So I have to say I love you in a song. There we go. So there's one more song that I'd like to play for you today, and this is a song that Mr. Jim played for us when we were kids in preschool, and some other singers have sung it over the years, but I don't think any of them have sung it quite as well as Mr. Jim did. So I'm just going to pull up the lyrics really quick. And is this? Nope, that's not the page. That's the page. All right, so this is my last song for today, and it's called Waltzing with Bears. Our old Uncle Walter's not right in the head. He's just been that way all his life, Mother said. It's not that he's violent or falls down the stairs. It's just he goes waltzing, waltzing with bears. He goes wah 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 wah, waltzing with bears. Raggy bears, taggy bears, shaggy bears too. There's nothing on earth Uncle Walter won't do, so he can go waltzing, wah wah wah, waltzing. He can go waltzing, waltzing with bears. I went to his room in the middle of the night. I tiptoed inside and I turned on the light. But to my surprise, he was nowhere in sight. It seems Uncle Walter went waltzing that night. He goes wah 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 wah, waltzing with bears. Raggy bears, taggy bears, shaggy bears too. There's nothing on earth Uncle Walter won't do, so he can go waltzing, wah wah wah, waltzing. He can go waltzing, waltzing with bears. We gave Uncle Walter a new coat to wear, but when he came home it was covered in hair. Lately I've noticed there's several new tears. I think Uncle Walter's been waltzing with bears. He goes wah 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 wah, waltzing with bears. Raggy bears, shaggy bears, taggy bears too. There's nothing on earth Uncle Walter won't do, so he can go waltzing, wah wah wah, waltzing. He can go waltzing, waltzing with bears. We begged and we pleaded, oh please won't you stay. We managed to keep him at home for a day, but the bears all barged in and they took him away. Now he's dancing with pandas, he can't understand us, and our bears demand at least one waltz a day. He goes wah 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 wah, waltzing with bears. Raggy bears, taggy bears, shaggy bears too. There's nothing on earth Uncle Walter won't do, so he can go waltzing, wah wah wah, waltzing. He can go waltzing, waltzing with bears.
Okay, Uncle Walter.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that was a very nice set you played for us today. It was super fun to go around the world.
Thank you for joining me.
Blues. And we had a full house today too. A lot of people joined in.
Yeah, thanks to all my friends and family who came to listen in.
Yeah, you did a great job, Walker.
Thanks.
So I think that's it for today. Do you want to talk a little bit more, Walker, or just say goodbye?
Well, I don't have much else to say. You've already heard a lot of my talking today, so I don't feel I need to say anything else. But yeah, a big thank you to everybody who came and listened, and hope to see you again some other time.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Thank you, folks. at Cayuga Ridge. Thank you, Walker, so much.
My pleasure.
And we'll see you guys
You're very welcome.
next week.
Awesome.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.